Most conflicts after the Cold War have been domestic ones between diverse groups seeking political power or independence. Because of this, even after conflict has ended, there still remains a risk of conflict to break out in many cases. In order to maintain long-term peace and build a society where these conflicts will never happen again, it is essential these conflict-affected countries should develop better national frameworks, improve policies and systems, and empower people living in the society. JICA support is targeted at various levels of a government according to the case, and this time the specific focus is on the role of local government as a public service provider to the people, and its emphasis is on strengthening their capacity. Let us take you through what this exactly means. Major factors of conflict are the confrontation among political leaders, unequal share of resource revenue, the lack of rule of law, and significant social divide. People living in such countries find it difficult to accept social and political structures. This may result in people's discontent with the government, which might lead to another conflict. Well, what is a government that people accept? It's the government that the administrative, legislative, and judicial powers are functioning the way it should. The voice of people are heard equally, and people can live with security. People won't give their government okay until they see the legitimacy of the government. At this stage, people try to challenge their problems, such as discontent and confrontation in democratic and legal operations. This prevents the conflict from breaking out. As shown in the previous chart, one of the important functions of government is providing vital public services in people's daily lives. These services include education, health, water, electricity, sewage, and roads. In order to provide public services, systems and functions in the central government must be established. It is also important that local governments, which are close to the people and provide services directly, are able to function. Societies affected by conflict have significant needs. Thus, a local government must pick up people's desires and thoughts as it works. However, local governments in conflict-affected countries lack financial and human resources. Besides, they also have many problems since they have not been functioning for many years. With government itself weakened, society is in ruins and interpersonal ties have been devastated. In this context, what sort of initiatives is necessary for local governments to provide necessary services to people and gain trust? Let's think about this while introducing examples from Uganda and Côte d'Ivoire. Kampala, the capital of Uganda. This is Uganda's biggest city with a population of 1.65 million. About 360 kilometers from Kampala is the city of northern Uganda, Gulu. The Acholi area, the center of which is Gulu, suffered from conflict over 20 years from the 1980s. social and economic infrastructure was completely devastated during the conflict between the Lord's Resistance Army, LRA, and the Ugandan Army. With many cases of kidnappings, about 2 million internally displaced persons, IDPs, spread out, and they have been forced to leave their place of birth and to live in camps. The number of armed conflicts has decreased in Uganda after peace negotiations commenced in 2006. The Ugandan government and the LRA agreed to a cessation of hostilities in 2008. Civic order improved, and when the LRA left the country, the return of IDPs gained momentum. However, the necessary measures to rebuild people's lives were not fully finalized. The country was still deeply affected by the psychological and social weight of conflict.
Many people in Acholi were in camps. They had left their homes because there was war in the north. So when the war started to wane or to end, there was need for people to go back to their original homes. But their original homes had been destroyed. No food, no water, no schools, no roads. So the government of Uganda called upon development partners, including Japan, including World Bank, including other donors, to come and help the government resettle the people from camps to their original homes. And that's how ACAP was designed under JICA to help government resettle people in their homes.
IDPs from Amuru district, adjacent to Gulu district, were resettled last. Because of this, there were no government officers to carry out resettlement. This is when JICA commenced support by constructing the officials' quarters as well as water supply systems to secure water for living. Then, in November 2011, JICA started the Project for Capacity Development in Planning and Implementation of Community Development in Acholi Subregion, ACAP, in northern Uganda. The districts had problems, such as the systems for implementing development projects not functioning, insufficient budgets, and insufficient capacity to provide services that respond to the needs of the returnees. Due to these problems, necessary development work was often postponed, and the repair of local infrastructure in the community was delayed. ACAP supported capacity development of local government officers, with the aim of building local government institutions that can provide stable living conditions and social services to the returnees. The counterpart for this project was the Ministry of Local Government. The project targeted district planners and community development officers, as well as sub-county community development officers in Acholi subregions, and the activities included training and pilot projects.
Dieta ngome eni tini dieta romana.
Kama ati yo chaka en ki kongiansa. Kom origin. Yo ma akya. Kani do ro lali. Uti ari okin. O kom ya chan. O da kom yem en pata ti.
O mo yem pe kuja.
En par beti, par ti tunka.
In this farming village, this woman has lost her husband due to the conflict and is not able to cultivate her land alone. Through the pilot projects of ACAP, the districts and sub-counties supported community groups' activities, which lends cows for cultivation to widows in such situations.
This cow here is bringing unity between the community around here. Started from the group members themselves. The way they conduct their activities, their business, they do it in a unity way. There is no any complaints among the groups. Yeah, this is a kind of peace-building factors, you know. One of the one of the things that bring peace to unite people together. Good. Yeah.
Oboma is visiting a village where a well was made in 2013 as part of ACAP's community development activities.
Em anh tết đặc thì cái đường em lọc cùng đài đôi bì là mấy ông bị đài đôi bì mà ok là với lì chỉ biết được à piano mà mua mà chơi cái miếng ăn nông pot hoàn bì cả chỉ biết được cái luar cái tiệm mai tiệm piano luar nhảy cùng đà rio culi
jo mà đông pegu chulu pegu mer chulu pi o mier ku ke te ka ku ket ngwa dong chalo chek ngata pe chulu I duene en pe nga pe tuam pi o mier chul te ke due tu ma en pe chulu mier due ma chakan pe chulu pi
lok ma unu logo ka chakan enini oberu gina piere tek pian wipo ikare ma wami fuonye boto ma keme kiet machalo pi ma o mier ke gwak kere watiti u kare wai ni pi ni enini dong meku pe meka ngati modong twer me gwak ne weko bed mabe ti chingu kuman ko waja bene ni weko gwak pi mabe pi balle chika inen balle na tie jammi kom tangini enini ki wila ki chiling JICA supported us in terms of giving us the projects where the community is benefiting, and at the same time they look critically because in terms of capacity building, we who are dealing direct with the community, they thought of building our capacity so that when we go to the community, we know what to do.
The function or the purpose of my work is mainly community mobilization and community empowerment. Yeah, and we do this through the process of going out to the community, listening to them, and sharing with them different government programs.
There was aspect of developing formats of making sure that planning is evidence-based. So that evidence you get through data collection, a lot of data collection and analysis, so that you come up with very concrete priorities.
ACAP was multi-pronged in its approach. It was improving the capacity of government officers to implement community development projects. But at the same time also, it was building the capacity of communities also to implement their projects. Of course, when we talk of government officers, of course, these were the entry point. And then JICA would work with them and go to the grassroots and then start planning with the community. How to come up with the projects up to the time of implementation, and then also up finally to the time of evaluation. So it did not only assist government officers, but it assisted government officers and the communities where those government officers were working.
In that we adopted some, if not all, the tools that were developed by the project, especially in the planning. Even the methods used, like in procurement, we have adopted them. Even on the way we implement other projects, we use ACAP knowledge and skills.
Abidjan is the biggest city in Côte d'Ivoire, with a population of 4.7 million. The capital was moved from here in 1983, but it still remains the country's political and economic center. In Côte d'Ivoire, after the outbreak of political turmoil in 2002, the area north of Bouaké City in Béké region was put under the control of anti-government forces. In the next 10 years, the country was virtually split into two parts, north and south. Most of the government officers, as well as the residents, sought refuge in the south. Public services in northern and central areas, such as education, health and medical care, water and electricity, were suspended. With the economic stagnation, living standards declined and exacerbated poverty. A peace agreement was signed in 2007, and officials were appointed to the northern and central areas from the next year. However, the country remained unstable, and administrative services did not recommence until 2010. In order to proceed the decentralization to restore and develop the central and northern areas, regional municipalities were required to make development plans and to function as public service providers.
Après la guerre, c'était pas du tout facile parce que 10 ans, il n'y avait pas d'investissement, donc la ville était délabrée, il n'y avait pas de services, l'administration n'y était plus parce que tout s'était délocalisé à Abidjan.
Heading up north through the capital Yamoussoukro from Abidjan, going further, here's the city of Bouaké. Bouaké is the second biggest city in Côte d'Ivoire, with a population of about 780,000. It is the biggest city in the northern area, and it's the capital of Béké region.
Moi, c'est année essai Nina. Le 2 mars 2009, j'ai commencé au Conseil général. Je suis chargée de l'éducation et de la formation à la direction des affaires sociales, culturelles et du développement humain.
Je me nomme Bolé Yao Pascal Gauthier. Je suis le chef des services et du patrimoine chargé de l'hydraulique villageoise au Conseil régional de Béké, plus précisément à la direction des services techniques et des moyens généraux. Ma fonction, je m'occupe du suivi et du recensement du patrimoine et des équipements du Conseil régional de Béké.
Béké region is the heart of the central and northern areas in Côte d'Ivoire. Here, JICA has been implementing the Project on Human Resource Development for Strengthening Local Administration in Central and Northern Areas of Côte d'Ivoire, PCN-CI, since 2013. In order to gain mid- and long-term stability in the central and northern areas, as well as the country itself, it was considered important to build up people's trust in the government, especially in those areas, since both areas were largely affected by the conflict. In achieving this, it was necessary to build a framework of public services in these two areas, and to conduct activities through which the improvement in public services is noticeable to the people. In cooperation with the central ministries, PCN-CI developed a framework in which local governments could provide services by themselves and supported local government officers with capacity development programs, and also provided administrative support for resident organizations so that they could operate and maintain facilities like the water supply or schools by themselves. Among people's needs, the restoration and expansion of access to education and the water supply was particularly high. Thus, PCN-CI carried out training as well as pilot projects for local government officers responsible for these sectors. Two officers in Béké region, Pascal and Nina, have undergone PCN-CI training and gained knowledge and experience through this pilot project. They are now working at the front line of administrative services.
Je pense que la JICA nous a tout appris. C'est vrai qu'on avait les capacités, mais on n'arrivait pas à s'exprimer, on n'arrivait pas à mettre cela en marche, compte tenu de la structure même qui est nouvelle. Parce que, comme je l'ai dit, du général, on est passé au régional en 2013. Donc, ce n'était pas facile. Et quand la JICA est venue dans ce projet, avec le projet PCNCI, pour le renforcement des capacités, cela nous a permis d'avoir une autre manière de travailler en collectivité.
Je dis bien, je n'avais même pas une petite notion en forage. Et grâce à ce projet, je peux me vanter de connaître au moins les rudiments pour pouvoir au moins discuter sur des cas de forage mal exécutés ou bien exécutés. Je peux me prononcer et faire un PV adéquat. Donc je dis d'abord, en ce sens-là, c'est un grand apport pour moi, personnellement. Mais avec ce qu'on a eu encore en apport, ça a amélioré encore plus nos services.
The conflict, which lasted over 10 years, has also had a significant negative impact on the educational environment in Côte d'Ivoire. Teachers disappeared from schools in the central and northern areas, which forced most schools to close.
C'était une zone complètement occupée par la rébellion. Donc pendant ce temps, toutes les écoles avaient presque fermé. Il a fallu que les parents d'élèves se lèvent pour essayer de relever l'école en engageant des enseignants qu'on appelait des enseignants volontaires. Donc les comités de gestion, les parents d'élèves étaient regroupés, mais ils n'étaient pas encore dans la formule de comité de gestion. Et en 2005, ils ont dû créer des comités qu'il fallait maintenant organiser, il fallait former pour qu'ils suivent la bonne conduite des comités de gestion.
Adafi Andre, now struggling for the improvement of school management.
En 2008, on m'a muté à la direction régionale de Boaké, toujours m'occuper des comités de gestion. Ce travail consiste à former les COGES, à les encadrer et à les suivre.
PCNCI also provides capacity development for officials in charge of school management.
Nous avons eu droit à la confection de 3 manuels. Ce sont des guides qui ont permis de faire avancer en tout cas le fonctionnement de nos comités de gestion dans la région et de voir comment ils allaient fonctionner en fonction de ce programme d'activité. Donc ça, c'est un document de fonctionnement. Il permet d'élaborer, de faire le PACC, le programme d'activité des COGES, communautaire des COGES. Donc tout ça a été indiqué aux communautés aujourd'hui. Donc, vous avez vu, on a eu un exemple hier, ils savent comment faire un programme et puis ils exécutent ce programme. Ça aussi, c'est un document très important.
The School Management Committee is now changing so that school management itself will improve further.
Bon, il faut dire que les choses ont changé parce que de plus en plus les gens ils s'acceptent. Ça veut dire donc qu'ils acceptent de travailler ensemble et de regarder dans la même direction. Et, disons, pendant la guerre, chacun regardait d'un côté, donc le problème de l'un n'intéressait pas l'autre. Et le grand changement, en tout cas des comités de gestion, sur l'étendue du territoire, les gens de plus en plus s'intéressent aux activités des COGES, mais particulièrement à Boaké, avec la participation, disons, le projet de la JICA. Je dis aujourd'hui, partout où vous allez, si vous dites COGES, c'est plus connu et les gens s'intéressent à l'activité.
Avant, il y avait une lenteur au niveau de l'administration. On n'arrivait vraiment pas à cibler nos projets. Mais aujourd'hui, avec la formation que nous avons eue, avec les différentes directions que nous avons, la direction de la planification, la direction de sociaux et puis la direction technique, nous arrivons ensemble à monter nos programmes triennaux. C'est-à-dire, on va vers les populations. On connaît aujourd'hui les besoins des populations. On connaît les réalités. Avant, je ne connaissais pratiquement pas tous les villages de la région. On ne sortait pas, on travaillait plus au bureau. Et c'était la direction technique qui allait un peu sur le terrain.
En effet, ce projet est un véritable succès. La formation, en tout cas pour nous, c'est un succès. De ce point de vue-là, il y a encore d'autres défis à relever. Ces défis à relever montrent qu'il faut aller un peu plus loin. Aller un peu plus loin parce que les communes en crise, enfin les collectivités en crise, sont aussi à l'ouest, sont aussi au nord. Donc quand le pays a été coupé en deux, et ce sont ces communautés-là qui ont été privées de ces services de base. Donc il est bon qu'on puisse étendre cette perspective-là à ces collectivités, ces zones que j'ai citées, à l'ouest comme au nord.
As you have seen here, local governments play a significant role in the creation of a stable state in which conflict does not recur. The provision of public services is one of the most important duties of local governments in conflict-affected countries. Furthermore, the cases of Uganda and Cote d'Ivoire have shown important factors to consider in the process of service delivery. The following 4 points are particularly important. First, local governments must allocate resources equally and inclusively without being biased by social conditions. They must take into account the existence of different groups of people, including those who oppose the government during conflicts, ethnic groups, former refugees, displaced persons, and widows, and respond to their needs as much as possible by reflecting them in the development plan. It is also necessary that the local governments meet the needs of people in their service delivery. It is important to collect and analyze objective data, to formulate a plan based on those data, and to explain this process to people. Furthermore, cooperation of people in different groups in project implementation could strengthen social cohesion once weakened in communities. It is necessary to utilize limited financial and human resources effectively. In order to do this, capacity development of government officers and collaboration between central and local governments and among local governments are important. It is also important to clarify the roles and responsibilities of central and local government and to improve relations between them. Local governments also need to disclose information about their project planning, budget distribution, and budget use, and to explain it to people. For example, when selecting a project, local governments need to explain to people how the needs are assessed and the equality is assured, and how the project will be implemented efficiently. By taking this process, people who won't benefit from the project would still be supportive. Through such feedback, dissatisfaction and doubts would be dispelled, which is particularly important in conflict-affected countries. In order for people to trust and accept their local government, it is important that local governments ensure equality, responsiveness, efficiency, and accountability. Through its projects, JICA works with its counterparts, not only by helping them understand the new concepts, but by practicing them together. Based on the idea that such approach is more effective, JICA is supporting capacity development of local governments, changing the mindset of government officers. Government officers in Uganda and Cote d'Ivoire have deepened their connection to the people in the villages and have built up their trust, which was then also recognized by the central government, building up trust between the central and regional governments and also communities. This leads to the first step towards state building in conflict-affected countries. Local government officers play a significant role in peace building in conflict-affected countries.